Hey guys, this is KJ48 and welcome back to Tips, Tricks, and Tutorials. This is episode 15, and for this episode we're going to be doing a little bit of EverQuest 2 here, and we're going to go over the Ranger class. And I just want to make a stipulation for this guide, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call this. I am not an expert. I'm just going to tell you guys what I know, and I hope you find the information useful. Okay, we're going to start off here with character development and alternate advancements. Okay, I'm going to go over character development first. The human innate abilities. I'm not going to go over this. You might not even be human, and even if you are, these are pretty self-explanatory. And even if you make the completely wrong choices here, it's really not going to make any real difference in your character. This is more of a min-maxing thing. So if you read these things, they're pretty obvious. We're going to look at the focus effects. Again, this is just what I went with. I went with focus critical damage. From what I understand, crit bonus is huge in this game, so I went with some crit bonus there. I also went with focus potency. Potency basically makes your combat arts do more damage. I went with focus explosive arrow. Increases the damage of explosive arrow. We'll get into that later when I tell you what explosive arrow is. Just remember I took that. Focus Hunter's Instincts. I'm going to stop saying focus. I don't know why I keep saying that. But we got Hunter's Instincts. Hunter's Instincts will increase the maximum health. Hunter's Instincts, we'll go over that. Basically, whenever you take a focus or an AA or anything that does anything to another skill, if you look on the skill, what has been changed is marked in green. So you can see right there, Hunter's Instinct gave me 10% more health when using Hunter's Instinct. So Primal Reflexes improves the hate gain of Primal Reflexes. Archer's Fury adds a wounding effect to Quick Shot that decreases in damage each tick. I went with Focus Aim, improves the duration of Focus Aim. Triple Shot, which improves the damage and hit rate of Triple Shot, one of my main single target attacks that's not a stealth attack. Miracle Shot will reduce the threat priority, it's basically a de-aggro. And Storm of Arrows improves the damage of Storm of Arrows. So that's really quick rundown on focus effects. Let's look at Ranger training. I'm just going to show you the last thing that I took on Ranger training. I took Natural Selection, which is an out-of-encounter AoE, which I really like. The only other option here would probably be Ember Strike. All these are pretty good, but I like Natural Selection the best. Alright, let's look at some AAs. Okay, now this is where we're going to get into it. I'm going to go over this pretty quick. Obviously, you got to put 1 point in bounty. I went agility line. Point blank shot is just a basic, point blank shot. It's exactly what it sounds like. I barely use it. And then you got fitness here, which increases the speed of your caster. Who cares? Increases in combat movement speed. Who cares? You're basically putting points in this so you can get down to this one. Alright, so I put 10 points in weapon expertise. That crit bonus again. It's a big stat for pretty much everyone in the game. And then poise increases ability casting speed of caster. Now, as a non-caster, like I'm not a warlock or a wizard. I don't really have casting spells, but some of these abilities do take some time to cast. Let's look at this one. Casting 0.75 seconds. I think that was 1 second. It may not seem like a lot, but when you add that up in a fight, that really matters. And then I have some that actually take a good amount of time to cast, like Sniper Shot. That takes 1.85 seconds, and that's after going through a bunch of stuff that lowers the casting time. That was probably closer to 3 seconds, maybe 2, somewhere in there. So that's an important one right there. And then you go down the stamina line. I just put 4 in spinning spear, just an AoE. Pretty low damage AoE. I don't really bother with that. Then I increase max health, put 10 in here. That's important because you're probably going to pull aggro. You could get barraged. You might get AoE'd by the enemy, and you really want to have that max health. It really helps out. Then surrounding attacks. This is a big one. This will give you a 28% AE auto attack chance. Basically, you get 28% more of a chance to hit multiple targets in front of you every time you attack. It's incredible. You want to get that stat up as high as possible. By the way, I'll look at these last. And then you come over here to the wisdom line. Right here, increased defense again, just trying to live. The reason you put that increased defense so high is so you can get to this ability. Because you need a certain amount of points in this line to get to this one. Actually, you need 22 points in this to get to this one, so that's where I ended up putting my points. And then right here you have reduces casting and reuse speed of stealth and stalk abilities, and increases the damage of the following combat art. the way the Ranger works is a lot of these big heavy hitters I have to be stealth to use. So like I'll be standing here, I'll be in a fight, and then I need to go stealth, and then boom, I'm in stealth. Now you see these all light up. Now I can use my heavy hitters. And basically, what that AA does is it lets me get into stealth quicker by 100% actually, and it increases the follow up combat art, which is usually a heavy hitter, so that's a big deal. So that's important. And then this last one in the wisdom line is really nice. Smoke bomb, as you can see right there. It does 16,000 to 30,000 damage in an area of effect, blue area of effect. It means it hits everything in the area. And oh, by the way, the max AoE targets is 12. Most AoEs are 8 max targets. This is a really, really good ability. It also puts you into stealth and decreases your threat priority. It also interrupts targets. I didn't even know that. So yeah, it puts you into stealth, decreases your. I mean, it's just a great ability. It's a nice setup for some of the other stealth abilities that you can use afterwards. So when you come down here on the very bottom, basically this one, Vicious Stabbing, improves base auto attack multiplier of caster. To tell you the truth, I don't know what that does. I just went in it because none of these really sounded that good. Then right here, Hasten Reusability. This is a must have. Increases ability reuse speed of caster. Every single ability you have here has a cooldown. You can only use it once so often, and that lessens the cooldown by 10%. Must have. Alright, and right here I have Stealthy Avoidance. Grants a temporary reduction to the next damaging attack. Coming out of stock, this fools the enemy for a short duration, allowing you to greatly reduce incoming damage for a short time. I don't know. I guess I just didn't have anywhere else to put it. That one I'm not too clear on. But I did look up some guides online, and they said that's a pretty decent one, so I did use it. And then Predator's Final Trick, you put 2 points in here. Basically what this ability does is once you use this, it bypasses the stealth requirements on all your abilities. So when I use this, I don't have to go into stealth for anything. Here, watch, I'll do it right now. See, I used it. Now all my stealth abilities are up. It's incredible. You can put out so much burst DPS like this. You could just go from one big hitter to the other, just repeatedly. It's really nice. Oh, and by the way, it also increases the crit bonus of caster by 40%. Which is incredible. So yeah, that crit bonus is incredibly, incredibly useful. Alright, so that takes care of the Predator tree. Now we're going to go to the Ranger tree. By the way, a little side note, the way these trees work is Heroic tree is your ultimate tree. That's what you want to get to. Shadows tree is your second ultimate tree. Ranger tree is your third ultimate tree. And Predator tree is your beginning tree. So you kind of got to like play around with this and see when you're going to put what AAs where. My basic rule is I'm trying to get into the Ranger tree. I'm trying to get down here. And in order to get down here, you got to spend a certain amount of points. So I put a lot in the Predator tree. Then I put a good amount in the Ranger tree. Then I start making a beeline for these end abilities in the Shadows tree. And I think you need 170 points spent globally in all trees to get down to here. And ultimately, you're trying to get into this tree. And I forget how many you need to get into this tree, but the second you can get into this tree, you want to start dumping points into it. Alright, let's look at the Ranger tree. So right here I went with Enhanced Caustic Poisons. Caustic Poisons is the poison you use as a Ranger that does direct damage. Oh my god, 18,000? Wow, I didn't notice it was that much. But yeah, Caustic Poisons. As a scout, we can use poisons, and that ups the damage. Over here, Enhanced Searing Shot. That's just an ability I have. Increases the damage. Snaring Shot increases the crit bonus of it and improves the reuse speed of it, so you can use it more. Enhanced Pathfinding. This is my increase out of combat movement speed. I just put 2 points into it because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. Enhanced Natural Selection. Why not? Improves the casting speed. Okay, remember what I said about that casting speed. Improves the casting speed and increases the damage. Really, really good one there. And then here I have Focus Aim, which increases the duration of that buff by 5 seconds. Right here I have Enhanced Makeshift Arrows, and increases the trigger count. We'll go over that when I show that ability. Increases the duration of Hone Reflexes by 20 seconds. This improves the casting speed of Triple Shot and increases the damage. This will basically, what this does, it is increases the resist reduction by 25% and increases the skill reduction by 35% of my poisons that are blue. Now, as a ranger, you can use one of each color of poison. I never use the blue poison because they're just debuffs, but that enhances them. That's like for raids and stuff. Enhanced Killing Instinct increases the duration by 15 seconds. These are a lot of temporary buffs, like 15-second buffs. Focus Aim, Killing Instinct, Honed Reflexes. These are all 15-second buffs, so that just makes it, last longer. Increases the duration of Hawk Attack, increases the duration by 10 seconds, and improves my reuse speed, so I can cast that more. Enhanced Storm of Arrows increases the damage by 5%, improves casting speed by 0.75 seconds. That's really nice. Stream of Arrows reduces recast by 25 seconds. That's a lot. And improves the casting speed by 1 second. Basically, I can cast it more, and I can cast it quicker. So down here, I took Conservation. That basically makes your poisons do better, and it also makes potions more effective. Over here is Extension. It increases my hit chance by 5%. If you're not hitting stuff, you can't hurt stuff. And it also increases my ranged weapon range of caster by 15%. That basically lets me shoot farther. And then here's Double Arrow. This is a good one. This is the first one I would take down here. Searing Shot will reduce the target's maximum health by 5% for a short duration, and more importantly, increases the multi-attack chance of the caster by 8. That's really nice. Alright, now we're going to look over here. We've got Fury of the Archer. Basically, you just take 5 across the board on the bottom. Improves the damage of Quick Shot. Improves the base damage and critical damage of Flurry of Arrows. Improves the base damage by 35% of Lunging Immobilization, and improves the reuse speed. Helpful Wounds improves the duration of Nature's Focus on Focus Aim. Improves the duration by 5 seconds. Cat-like Reflexes grants a ranger a chance to reduce their threat when attacking with ranged attacks. That's basically a de-aggro. It's wonderful for rangers. You don't want to get aggros because you don't want to die. And Opening Volley improves the damage of combat arts by 15% when the target is above 80% health. That's a pretty interesting one there. And the bottom point right here is Arrow Barrage. That's basically an encounter. It's basically an encounter attack. And it does a lot of damage. It has a DOT on it, and it does a good amount of damage. It's a nice ability. All right, for the Shadow Trees, I went with the max hit points on the top, and I went with max power. Then I went with Quick Strike and Offensive Prowess. Improves the skill reduction of offensive. Improves the skill bonuses of offensive-based stances and songs by 25%. It's really nice. Then you got Evasive Maneuvers, which is basically a de-aggro. Over here, I've got Cut Arteries. Basically, it makes my bleed faster and do more damage. It's really nice. I like that ability. And right here, I got Critical Mastery. Improves the critical damage multiplier of all my combat arts. Improves the amount of damage done with a combat art critically attacks by 3%. It's really nice. Then down here, I took Focused Attacks. Improves the bonus of Nature's Focus on my Focus Aim line. Right here I have Leaping Shadows. It basically improves the damage of my big backstab ability. That's not a ranged ability. Here's my secondary backstabbing ability, which it does even more damage with that. Right here you have Range Mastery. It improves the base and critical damage of ranged combat arts by 10%. And Explosive Arrow. This one's really cool. A large direct damage arrow attack that explodes on contact, enveloping the target in flames, which spreads to nearby enemies. Really, really cool. Basically, it does major damage to the guy hit, and it does like a area of effect burning damage or something. It's really cool. In the Heroic Tree, I wasn't really a fan of the ability modifier or the max power and health, so I went with increases my agility, which is basically what I care about. You could do it does strength, agility, intelligence, and wisdom, but that's just so everybody can use the same thing. But mine's agility, so that increases my agility. Down here, I have increases critical bonus of caster by 10%. Right here, I have Lightning Reflexes increases ability reuse speed of the caster by 10%. Ability reuse speed by 10%. It's huge. You got to get that. It's really important. It's hard to get reuse speed on gear that is tailor-made for rangers. It's more stuff that you see on caster gear. So anytime we can get that, it's really important. All right, right here I have Killing Spree. Increases the damage of area effect profession combat arts along with the alternate advancement arrow barrage and shadow step. It just makes all my improves the damage of area of effect combat arts, arrow barrage, and shadow step by 80%. It just makes all my AoEs like even better. Dexterous attacks. Certain attacks will inflict their damage twice. Now this is the bomb. Okay. This ability makes all my big hitters hit twice. Now my big hitters are big hitters, and this makes them hit twice. It's insane. I don't even know what to say about that. It's just ridiculous. Then you have Exploit Weakness. This is a really cool ability. Exploit Weakness grants an innate 5% chance to trigger on any attack that deals direct damage and lasts for 6 seconds. Once weakness is detected, once weakness detected has been applied, the Predator can use Exploit Weakness to inflict massive melee damage. This ability will do only minor damage if used when weakness is not on the target. Basically, I just use my combat arts, and I don't really go out of my way to see which ones do damage for 6 seconds. I just use them. I just use them in the fight. And when you see a little message down here that says you see a weakness, you hit Exploit Weakness, and it does an incredible amount of damage. Now that says it inflicts 51 to 91,000. No, it does 200 to 300,000. I've hit 300,000 with that before. It's a really, really cool ability. Alright, now we're going to look on the Prestige tree. The Prestige tree, I believe you get this at 90, and basically every 20% you get 1 point in the Prestige tree. So I went with Arrow Rain. Direct damage area of effect attacks gain a secondary hit that deals 63% of their base damage. Basically, whenever I use an area of effect ability, it hits again for 63% of its damage. Pretty nice. Then I have Hidden Assault, which is a stealth. It's a stealth encounter arrow attack, and it does a lot of damage. Come over here. I got Ranger's Assault. Explosive Arrow has a 50% chance to clear the reuse of Arrow Barrage. Pretty nice. Alright, right here, for every 30 points of multi-attack chance, the cancer gains 1 potency. That's really nice because I have a lot of multi-attack. Then we have Rapid Salvo. Fires a stream of arrows in a cone in front of the ranger. For every target the ranger strikes, they get an increment of repeated salvo, which deals additional damage with the next attack. Higher ranks of this ability reduce the reuse time. Repeated salvo can increment up to 6 times. So it's already like a really nice blue AoE damage ability. It does a lot of damage, but then it gives me ability to do even more damage after I've used it. Then right here, Empowered Salvo increases the damage of Rapid Salvo's initial attack by 180%. Yes, please. Rapid Fire adds 3 additional piercing damage strikes to repeated salvo, so it makes it even better. And Arrow Salvo reduces the base reuse and casting time of Stream of Arrows and Storm of Arrows. Reduces the base reuse speed of Stream of Arrows to 60 seconds. Yeah, it just makes my big blue AoE hitters cast even faster. I had some other points to fill in, so I kind of like some of these. Quick Shot and Makeshift Arrows will fire a second shot when triggered. Blazing Weapons. Honed Reflexes and Killing Instinct will gain 45% chance to inflict extra heat damage when the ranger attacks. And I am not even going to try and read that Heartseeker name, but Nature's Focus will grant a chance to inflict additional damage with each attack. And that is my AA trees. Okay, with the AA trees out of the way, let's look at some of my abilities here. Now, I have my hotbar set up in a very specific way that works for me. Basically, I have 6 hotbars here. I have 6 hotbars for all my tunes, and some are a little bit different. Some tunes are different than others, but this is the way I set up my ranger. First of all, as a ranger, you always want to start off your attack with ranged attack. Never start off with a combat art. Your 50% of your damage, maybe even more, will come from your ranged auto attacks. So you always want to start off with that first. That's your heavy hitter. The second ability here, you know what, before I go over the abilities, let's look at what's on each hotbar. This first hotbar is all single target damage abilities. The second hotbar is the abilities that put me into stealth, and then after that are the abilities that I use when I'm in stealth, my heavy hitters. Okay. Third hotbar is all AoE stuff. Fourth hotbar is melee attacks, and yes, rangers do melee. Fifth hotbar is buffs. And the sixth hotbar is my I forget what these are called. They're short term. They're short-term buffs, basically, like 15-30 second buffs that give me like they all give me damage. So that's how I set them up. So I put on number 2, I put exploit weakness. Now if you remember, exploit weakness is the ability that when I see a weakness in the enemy, I have to hit it, and I have to hit it pretty quickly. So I always put that on number 2 so I can hit it really quick with the key. By the way, I'm a clicker, but some of these I'll hit with the keyboard, and that's one of them. Now you could probably put these in a better order to min-max, but I don't care. I just put them in the order I like them. Triple shot. I'm not going to go over what they do. You could just look at it. I'm just going to give you my orders. Crippling arrow. Miracle shot. You see right there the green for my AA tree gives me decreased threat priority. It's a nice de-aggro. We got trick shot. We have searing shot again. AA tree. Decreases max health by 5%. I don't know what good that is, but whatever. Snaring shot. Now we're starting to get into the weak stuff. I don't hit this stuff a lot. Evasive maneuvers, which is a nice de-aggro. Actually, it does a lot of damage. I should probably move that up. I'll move that up later. Point blank shot. That's, I don't even use these. And then I have back here, I have rear shot, which rear shot's a really good one. I probably should put this somewhere else, but I don't know. I just have it there. And this is some de-aggro snipe ability. I don't use that. So right here I have 3 abilities that put me into stealth. I have stealth, which just, whatever. By the way, you can see the AA tree increases damage of following combat art by 10%. Then you have stalk, which increases the damage of following combat art by 10% and reduces all damage done to caster by 30%. That's an ability that you attack the enemy and then it puts you into stealth. And sneak attack, which is also an ability that you attack the enemy and it puts you into stealth. This is an ability coverage. This is increases damage of your next stealth attack by 28%, but you have to use it after certain combat arts before you can use this ability. The one I usually use it with is rear shot. Let me see if it says right here. You must execute certain combat. Yeah, let's read this. Let's look at coverage. Coverage can only be used after any ranged combat art that requires stealth or positioning. So I guess I could use it after hidden shot or rear shot. It's pretty situational. It's hard to use. I don't ever use it. It gives me a 28% bonus though, which is 18% more than stealth, but it's really hard to use. I really don't use it much anymore. Alright, here are my heavy hitters. I got sniper shot, which, now remember, all these heavy hitters are hitting twice because of the AA I have. Sniper shot does 51 to 82,000. That usually hits for around 250,000. Hidden shot, which you can see the damage right there, and then I have my melee heavy hitters, which is Ranger's Blade and Ember Strike. All right, so now let's look at my AOE's. I have Rapid Salvo right there. See all that damage? Gives me the repeated salvo on target of attack, followed by Stream of Arrows, which is just a nice heavy hitter. It also, you could see how it says it does 2 sets of damage there. That's because of the AA. The second one is like, what was it, 64% of the damage from the original hit. So my AOEs are hitting twice. Then we have Smoke Bomb. You remember that. Then we have Natural Selection. Now, Natural Selection requires me to be in stealth, so that's a little bit trickier. That's why I put it right behind Smoke Bomb, because if you remember, Smoke Bomb puts me in the stealth, and then I can go right to Natural Selection. Then I have Explosive Arrow, big fire, burns everything. Storm of Arrows. Anything that's green will only affect, it's an AoE, but it only affects the mobs in the encounter. Storm of Arrows. Then I have Arrow Barrage. And last but not least, I have Hidden Assault, which is a stealth green encounter AoE. Down here I have my melee attacks, and as a ranger, I'm not even going to go over this stuff. The only thing I really like is Bloody Reminder. The rest of this stuff is just, I kind of use it if all my big abilities are down, and I'm just using it in between auto attacks. Now, the one major thing about rangers and melee combat arts is, alright, as a ranger you never want to be auto attacking with your with your weapons, with your hand weapons. You never want to be auto attacking with these. What you want to do is be auto attacking with your bow. And I just took out my weapons again, I'm not sure why, but you want to be auto attacking with your bow. If you're auto attacking with your melee weapons, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not made to do that. And if you use any of these combat arts, it's going to automatically put you into melee auto attack. So what you can do is you can right click on every single one of these abilities. Now pay attention, this is important. You right click, once you've got your Heartbush set up, you right click on your melee auto attacks and you go to add macro. Here, I can't do it there because I've already done it, but you're going to go to create macro. Okay, you right click on it and create macro. So I've already created the macros, so I'm going to edit the macro to show you what it is. So what you're going to do is you're going to have bloody reminder, and it's going to, this command line won't be there. It'll just say bloody reminder. You're going to add a step of command, and you're going to put / auto attack, one word, space 2, and that's it. And you do it to all. You do it to all of them. So that way, anytime you use a melee attack, it's going to, when it's finished, it's going to put you into ranged auto attack. Okay, one more time. You got the bloody reminder. You're going to add a command step, and you're going to say / auto attack space 2. And you can do that with all your abilities. Now, if you just spam these abilities really quickly, it could trigger your auto attack. So you're going to have to get used to it. You don't really spam these. You kind of click one, wait a second, click one, wait a second. It slows you down a little bit, but in the long run, it's worth it. All right, now my fifth line is makeshift arrows. Makeshift arrows basically just gives you an extra trigger chance spell. It's pretty cool, or trigger chance ability. And then you just got all your buffs. Now all these buffs are really good. You know, they're all damage stuff. You know this. This is just all your buffs. Okay, and then down here you're gonna have your short-term buffs. I've got the first one's Predator's Trick, which you know what that does. Makes it so I can use all my abilities without having to be in stealth, which is really nice. And then you have Focused Aim. I'm not going to go over it. This thing is a monster. It's going to make your DPS sick. Use it. Same thing with Killing Instinct, although not as much. And last but not least, Honed Reflexes. Actually, that is least, but still, it's really nice. Alright, so that's all the combat arts. Okay, now that we're done with the combat arts, I'm going to go over gear and stats. This one should be a lot quicker. It's pretty self-explanatory. Your main stat is agility. You don't have to worry about anything else. Most stuff that comes with agility, though, is going to come with stamina, which is good, so you can get those hit points up so you don't die. Mitigation, avoidance, you don't have to worry about. Crit chance. Now, 100% crit chance in this game is the theoretical cap, but there's a lot of mobs in this game that will lower your crit chance, or they have like crit chance resistance, so don't worry about getting your crit chance up too high. Mine's 284, and that's a good spot for it. If you were raiding, you'd want to get that up even higher. Crit bonus is a really good stat. It's going to make you do more damage when you actually do crit. Potency is going to make all your combat arts and arrow attacks and stuff do more damage. Ability mod, I'm not going to get into that. It's pretty decent. It's kind of like potency, except not as strong. Hate mod is awesome. Basically just makes it so you don't grab the attention of the enemies. Reuse speed, again, this is a tough one. This is really hard for me to get as high as I want it to be, but 23% is the best I could do. Casting speed is really nice, makes you cast everything quicker. Even though we're not casting spells, our combat arts do take some time, and if we can cut down that time, it's definitely good for us. Alright, now let's look at our auto attack stuff. DPS, okay. I just found out recently that the overall idea of a ranger, as far as these three stats, DPS, haste, and multi-attack, is that you want your DPS and haste to be over 200, and you want your multi-attack to be over 600. When I first found out about that, my DPS and haste were really, really high. They were like in the 350s, and my multi-attack was only 400. So I went through and I did some, whatever I could to get my DPS and haste down and my multi-attack up. Now, I didn't want to get my DPS or haste down. I mean, it's okay to have it higher, but in certain ways of switching out gear and working with the Reforger, no, I'm not going to get into that, but working with the Reforger, you have to give up some DPS and haste to get that multi-attack with the kind of gear I have. So 226, 211, and 649 is a really nice spot to be. Melee AE is an also really nice ability, especially for a ranger. As rangers, we hit hard. We hit really hard. And if you have multiple mobs and we can hit multiple mobs, we can put out the damage. It's ridiculous. So I'm trying to get my melee AE up. I'd like to get that close to 100, but I don't know how well that's going to work. I'm not going to get into the rest of this stuff, but what I am going to tell you is haste. Okay, haste caps out at, I think, 100%. I'm not sure what the haste caps out at, but no matter what, when you hit a certain haste and it's pretty low, it might actually be 100. You'll attack 125% faster than normal. That will never go up. If I got my haste to 10,000, it would still be 125% faster than normal. Any overflow on haste goes into flurry. Flurry is another double attack. I don't know why they need two multi-attacks abilities, but they have them. So having an overflow of haste is not the end of the world. It goes into flurry, but the transfer rate into flurry is really poor. So you don't want to just pour everything into haste hoping you can get more flurry. It doesn't work that way. Okay, that's about it. That's a general idea. I'm not going to go over gear. Gear is pretty simple. You're just looking for stuff with agility, and you're trying to get those stats to where I said 200 DPS, 200 haste, 600 multi-attack. Gear is pretty standard these days. So I'm going to cut it off here. All right, guys, that is going to be it for episode 15. I hope you found this somewhat useful, and see you next time for episode 16. Till then, take it easy.